Yes, I know that's the crane. No, I'm not working on it. I got this to work on. All right, so now I'm on to this other monstrosity. And it's tail gear. And it has been a pain in the ass because all the threading and everything on this has been screwed up, and it's pretty weak link considering where it's at on the helicopter. All the weight of the tail hits on here, and if you have a hard landing like I always do, it ends up breaking. So what I'm going to do, just as a temporary quick fix, because I want to rebuild this whole thing. This does not look scale at all on here, and it's driving me nuts. So, but for right now, I just want to make sure I can get this on here. So I'm going to use some of my HCS 2000 aluminum repairing rod and see if I can get this thing fixed. All right, I'm not gonna fuck with it anymore. All right, it is the next day, and I've cleaned up the weld a little bit here. I left majority of the material on there because that's kind of the strength of it. So I thought I'd show you my attempt at trying to do this again for the 10th time. Model. I'm gonna make a new model, and first off, we're gonna give it a name. Okay, we're gonna make this a heli. I'm gonna go like that. And we want this to have the mechanical servo set up because it has the NASA in it. This is where we have to change it into, like it says, throttle on 1, roll on 2. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. So roll, 2 is elevator, 3 is going to be throttle, 4 is yaw, 5 is gyro sense, 6 is pitch. And then if I added anything else, I could add channel 7, 8, 9, 10. Channel 7 will actually be my Bambi bucket release. So now I've got that all done. This is just the basics of creating a model. Hey, fuck, we're there. Hot damn. Okay, so now I need some flight modes. There we go. So no, I want to create my own. This is going to be normal. Okay, I'm actually going to put this on a switch. That's not what I want it to do. So I'm going to clear it. And I want normal on my switch A, and I want it to be down. This would be how I set up all my helicopters. I have that as off. I need more flight modes. So I'm going to add one. It says you can copy that over there, which is fine. So I'm going to say copy, and I'm going to go up to here, and I'm actually going to rename this to idle. Okay, and I'm going to rename this one to flight. And I'm doing this because I want an idle RPM and I want a flight RPM. It'll put the same switch position. So you got to go in and you got to change each switch to the position that you want. I'm going to clear it, and I'm going to get to that one. Okay. So now I have normal, and you can see where it's on. And then I have idle RPM. That turns that one on. And then I have flight RPM. Okay. After that part, I'm going to go into the gyro sense. Actually, I need to assign it. There. Now I have it on the switch that I want. Now I can go back into my fine heli tuning, into my gyro settings, and I can see what I've got. So if I flip it down, I'm at minus 30. Okay, now that I've got my gyro kind of set up on that switch, and I can give it a sound, add, and let's go find the file. Ah, there it is. And I can play it.
Rate mode.
Yeah, so I know what it is. Okay, at least now I know I'm in rate mode. That way I can check to make sure that my tail rotor is set up mechanically correct. Yeah. Right, I need another function. The model, function assignments. Now I need to add. This is ADDI mode. Okay. Now I need to give it a switch. This would be ADDI, and then that would be. Okay. So that what this will be for the NASA. This will be my switch. Forward is manual mode. One click to the middle is ADDI mode, and all the way down would be my GPS. So channel 8 is now dump. So that is basically all the functions that I need to have for the Pave Hawk. So now I've got all my servos assigned. You have to make the function, then you have to make the servo assignment, then you can go into servo setup, like in here. If I wanted to go into my dump switch, be buckets hooked up, that the servo is just right with this 100 and minus 100. I can adjust that, positive, negative, and all that kind of good stuff. Well, crap. So, going through the NASA setup, and this damn thing decided that the tail rotor servo was not working correctly. I don't know what happened. It was working when I had it, and now I have to tear it all apart and figure out what the hell is going on, because the servo is going zzz, and it shouldn't be going zzz, so sucks. I gotta tear it apart. Well, that wasn't too bad, but the mechanics are out of it now. Now I can figure out what the hell's going on with the damn servo. And it was as simple as having the wrong servo programmed into the NASA. It needed the 1520 center point, and it was at 720 because I hit the default and reset everything whenever I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Did some more research on it, and yeah, so I had the wrong freaking servo programmed into it. I looked it up and found the right shit, and what do you know, it all worked. So we put it all back together after greasing everything and lubing everything, and while I had it out, cleaned everything. Yeah, we're good to go for a maiden on this one, a remaiden. Now I'm going in and I am calibrating the ESC to the radio. I plugged it in, I had control, I still have my normal mode in a 3-point throttle curve, which means it's a linear curve from 0 to 100, just normal. So now I go in here to the servo setup, and you go in the model, then you go into servo setup, and then you come in here and you go find your throttle. And on your max positive, because you start out with this full up, when you plug in your main battery pack for that, and as that gets up there, I've taken the endpoints and I've brought them both down to 30%. So I can calibrate this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise that up until I hear the boop on the ESC. And you can kind of see it going up here. There's the first one. Then I go 2 more points. Now, I want to calibrate the bottom end. There it is. Then I can unplug this. My ESC is calibrated to my radio, and I'll go back in and I will make that throttle curve a flat curve at 0, because I want my normal, which is my switch, all the way down. I want that to be at 0. So that's the way I do it. All right, so now I'm going in to my throttle curve. I've changed it back to a constant, and then I come over here and I drop this down to 0 for my normal, and you can see all my
idle 1.
Idle 1 is actually at 30%.
Idle 2.
Idle 2 is at my 70%. And those throttle settings are actually set into the ESC. So I can have 3 different throttle settings. The first one is my idle RPM, which is what I use so that it comes up smooth, but it only comes up to about half RPM. And then I'll go to the flight RPM. And the same way in the reverse. After I land, I bring it down to the idle RPM, and it doesn't create such a shut-off hit to the system. It brings it down nice and slow, and then go into the normal mode, and that turns it off.
Yeah.
Man, I got it hanging here with everything ready to go. 20 pounds, 10 ounces, with the big 10,000 milliamp packs in here. Whenever I put the other packs in, which is 2 sets of 6S5000s, it was 5.6 pounds for the 2 of these and 6.8 pounds for the 4 of the other ones. So I'm a little lighter, but I've got to take and shove these up a little bit more. But it is ready to fly, and it's actually, I'd say, the little nose down, barely. I'm going to try it like this and see how it works. Yeah, this ought to be fun. I'm getting out and rebuilding things.